Yo, this your boy Q Bar, and y'all already know I'm the host of the Barcode Podcast 414. And today I'm sitting down with a legend today, y'all. He was kind of saying that he wasn't a legend, y'all, but y'all already know he a legend, man. This Kenneth Spears, man, went to Washington High School, man. I appreciate you pulling up to the Barcode Podcast, Pop.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure, my brother.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, man, before we get into it, Ken, I got to give you your flowers, man. He's class of 1985. He went to Washington High School. He won the first state championship ever at Washington in 1985.
Absolutely.
Then he went to OTERO Junior College, and he also went to Colorado Baptist University. And now he's currently a teacher at Montessori School.
Fernwood Montessori.
Yeah. Fernwood Montessori. Yes, I appreciate you again. And I'm going to get right into it, too. I'm going to get right into it, man. I want to know about your upbringing, right? Just because, for me, I was a dog on the court. I was mean.
Right.
But I grew up, no brothers, 6 sisters, and everybody was just so shocked. They thought I had older brothers to, get me tough and everything. So I love to ask, about people's upbringing. So just tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
I'm the youngest in the family. So there's 8, and I'm the youngest. Upbringing was cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Grew up on Garfield. 31st and Garfield, matter of fact. Fell in love with basketball at an early age from my brother. My brother Wayne played basketball, played for West Division.
Okay.
At one time was averaging 33 a game at West Division. So that's what I looked up to and fell in love with it that way. And nobody else in the family really played. It was just me and Wayne. That was it. So I fell in love with it that way. And of course, Dr. J after that. Yeah. And I just knew from there I wanted to play ball.
Yeah. Woo! You the OG Ken, Dr. J.
I just knew from there I wanted to play ball.
Yeah. And I know when Dr. J was doing that upper under back then, I know y'all thought that was so cold.
We were all doing it. And I was capable enough to have the hands for it. So absolutely, we all practiced that same move all the time.
Yeah. And you said you the youngest, so
the youngest,
how talented that you were, playing basketball. Like, how supportive was your family? Like, you being the youngest, like when you got into sports and playing basketball?
Very supportive. Father would take. I remember signing up. We would have. I want to say the first. I can't remember anybody else signing up for Sherman Park.
Okay.
Guy named TJ was living in the neighborhood, and I remember came over and saw a lot of us outside and said, "You guys want to play basketball for a league called Warner?" It was I never forget. It was green shirt, white shorts, and a pair of Chuck Taylors, low top, all for $10.
Oh,
and that's the way we joined the league. And I remember my father taking me to those games, wherever they were, La Follette, Keith, Garfield, wherever the games were. He would take me. So that was definitely supporting me, in what I was doing.
Yeah. And I know Warning back in the days was different. And I want to say, y'all used to travel from park to park, right?
Yeah.
How exciting was that?
I'm going to tell you what, that was real cool. Back then, when the days of games and everybody having on their colors was something. You know what I mean? Like, you just know that you gathering up with your boys, y'all hitting the park, maybe a little bit before your game, you stop by another park just to see and talk and, whatever, show your little colors, show who you playing for, whatever. Maybe watch a few teams warm up, especially if the parks are not far from each other, like Rose Park, Victor Berger, or something like that. But that was it. To travel, it was a cool thing around the city, man. That was, to me, that was a beautiful thing. And I know I think they have it at Lincoln Park now. That was our playoffs. So when we get to the playoffs, then it was up at Lincoln Park.
Then it was at Lincoln.
But other than that, you going to another person's place, sometimes it was hostile. Sometimes, we had issues at certain places. But, that's when I moved and changed territories. That's when I was playing for Tiff and Tyler.
Tiff and Tyler, okay. Was that 20th Street?
Over there, down in the hood. But that's where I grew up. So that's those were the areas where I played ball, where I learned to play basketball. Was 31st Street School, 33rd Street, and Tiffin's Island. So that was our
and I know that you originally, I mean not originally, but you know how you like to come to the Milwaukee All County.
Right.
The guy who run All County, you know, it started at Tiffin Tyler Park.
Nice.
Yeah, and it evolved all the way to MSOE.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's a fun fact, I guess, if you want to say. Yeah. Now, can you remember some of your teammates on Warning? Because I'm asking you for a reason.
From Warning, I had Juan Farmer, who's one of the young goats at the time, and went on to star at Bayview.
Okay.
Keith Woodson, another Bayview star. Skylab. We had Griff, played at South Division, and Boo Ashley ended up coming over after leaving Columbia. Ended up coming over, but those are some of the guys I played with at TIFF.
Sure. Okay. Now, when you say Griff, are you talking about big tall Griff?
No.
Okay.
No, I know who you talking about.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I had to ask that.
No.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that, Ken, because the next question is, like, why did you choose to go to Washington High School and you played you on the Warner team with the guys that's at Bayview and everything?
That's when we sit back and we talk about it, we look at it. You had myself on 31st and Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
You had Woodson around the corner from me, who I grew up with. That's like my brother grew up with, on 32nd. He ended up going to Bayview. Juan Farmer up the street. He ended up going to Bayview. Darren McDonald, all city, all state, up on 36.
Mm-hmm.
And Boo Ashley on 28th. And we all in the same neighborhood, and he went to North Division.
Okay.
So we all kind of went to different schools. My thing of going to Washington is coming from Stuyvesant.
Okay.
So when we was at Stuyvesant, kind of that's the pipeline from Stuyvesant to Washington High School. Before choosing it, I did choose Nicolay.
Okay.
And then my brother told me, what you gonna do when it's cold outside? You gonna stand on the bus stop, you gonna do whatever. And I told him, I said, yeah, you're right. So I erased it and put Washington High School, and the rest is history. You know, it was the best thing I could have done, going to Washington.
Okay. And I know a lot of times, like I went to Vincent and I didn't know the history going into, Vincent, and obviously you made history going to Washington. Did you know the history behind like just the sports program, or you just was like, you know what, it's closer to home and this where I'm going?
My brother started out at Washington High School.
Okay.
He left after his sophomore year and ended up going to West Division.
Okay.
So when I got to Washington, the freshman coach was the gym teacher at Stuyvesant. So it made things easier. And plus I got, some fellas, the same fellas, and my main man, Billy Ross, was with me. So it was easy to transfer. And coming in, as people knew my name already because of my brother. So it was always Young Spears, Little Spears. So I was able to ride those coattails with the seniors that were there and what have you. So it made it easier. And of course I knew about the Irv Bailey, Rob Luckett. Of course I grew up with Wilbert Roundtree, and know about Larry Hamilton, Washington great. So made it. I knew what I was walking into, and I was looking forward to it. For sure. I was looking forward to playing ball for Coach. Well, like I say, coach/gym teacher. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah. And I know this era is different, right? Where, compared to even my era when I played, it's different. We didn't have like personal trainers. We had guys that we played one-on-one with and everything. When you walked into Washington and you know what you had to go up again, like how talented that you work in, how did you work on your game?
Playground. We, like you say, we didn't have trainers. We didn't have, we had like a basketball camp, but we ran the basketball camp. Myself, Bill, Irv Bailey, and Charles Bannister, and Coach Russ. So really you just worked on your game plan on the playground.
Yeah.
And you knew how to bring a playground game into a structured game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't do too much. You had to do just enough to shine. And I never forget our our early practices before the season started.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday, and we were playing, and we had our practice. Things went well, and then the varsity came in, and we freshmen, varsity came through, and they were practicing, getting ready to practice, and coach said, "I want you and Bill to stay, and I want y'all to practice with the varsity." Head got this big. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It was like, this is it. I'm on now.
Yeah.
And we had a practice, of course. I mean, we freshmen. You know what I mean? We running up and down the court trying to get in where we fit in. You know?
Yeah.
And then that Monday, coming to school, we had our practice. And I go to practice at 38th Street because Washington didn't have a gym at that time. We had to share a gym, so sometimes the freshmen would go down to 38th Street.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to walk down there to practice sometime. And they told me, I was like, "Where Bill at?" I said, "Spears, Bill on varsity." I'm like, "What? Really? Damn." Ain't take me? What's going on? That's what I'm saying to myself. I ain't put that out there. But I put that, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a little chip that I put there, not jealousy, just a chip to say, you know what, you gotta do better.
You gotta do better.
You know what I mean? You gotta do better. So few games of freshmen, playing a few games of freshmen.
You just dominating.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then it took a few games, it took about 3 or 4 games, if that. And they said, "We're moving you up to JV."
Okay.
And that's when it kicked in. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't coming to JV to be 6 man.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Coming to JV and I'm starting.
Okay.
Everybody wasn't happy with that. I know that.
Yeah,
Nobody ever expressed that, but
yeah.
I know that.
But even when you was on JV, did you still have that chip on your shoulder, knowing like, man, my boy Billy made it like?
I wanted to be with him. I wanted to go ahead and we're gonna ride this together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a start of something. The good thing about it is that we always traveled though together.
Okay.
So you had JV and varsity always traveling together. So basically you had 2 freshmen that were on the bus, hanging out, whatever. If he has a good game, if he doesn't have a good game, I'm there for him.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So that made it.
Yeah.
I was cool with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I know it's tough, right? Because you lost Billy,
right?
So rest in peace to Billy Ross.
Absolutely.
And not to like move too far ahead, but like how have you been handling that though, Ken? With
I think about
so
Bill
close
every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him for something. And most of the time, it is something that I'm laughing about myself that I know he would be ribbing me on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was just him. He always had you laughing. He was not just a serious leader, but he was just a good dude, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All around good dude. And I think about him all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that too, Ken. I know it's always tough to lose anyone, but when y'all both got on varsity together, though, like, how was that like feeling for you?
I would say I was prepared, and I'm gonna give big ups to my guy Lim Russian.
Okay.
Lemuel helped me out on JV, looked out for me. He was a year ahead of me. I'm gonna say Lim was a year ahead of me. Looked out for me, prepared me for the next level.
Yeah.
Just being that solid dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He prepared me for that next level. And when I hit varsity, the mentor became, I should say, when I hit, before I got to varsity, the mentor that kicked in was Barry Jones.
Okay.
And Barry was hitting it. Like he knew what I needed to know. He told me what I needed to know. The ups and downs that's gonna come with it.
Yeah.
How to take it, how to approach things. So I give credit. Those are two people in high school at Washington that I give the most credit to is Lim Rushing and Barry Jones.
Yeah.
So when I got to varsity, I would say our junior year,
Okay.
we lose.
Mm.
And Bill looked at me, and it was right then we went into that locker room and we said things will be different next year.
Yeah.
And the reason we said that because things were hectic that year.
Yeah.
We had people who didn't want to come out. We would have people who coaches say, come on, and they'll blow him off.
What?
It was not the best of times.
Okay.
But we knew after we lost, it would be us. And we knew that leadership would be different.
It'd be different.
And we went into that off season with that mind frame, and it never changed. From Mitchell Park League, which we won during the summer. I always think of you, Bill. You still owe me a trophy for that because we won that. But it was like we were together at that point.
Yeah.
And we wasn't going to take anything less but hard work. And that's no lie. We weren't going to take anything less but hard work. It was going to be no BS, no me. It was going to be us.
Yeah.
And that's the way we approached it.
Yeah. And that's going into your senior year, right?
That's the senior year.
That's going into senior year. Now, if you can remember, Ken, I want to say when you going into your senior year, wasn't it like a young like Brian Gardner coming in?
We had BG and Trevor Powell.
Okay, yeah, the young guns.
We knew we were building something.
Yeah.
When you have young people who were stars in their own right, in the making. They wasn't hitting it at that point, but we knew.
Yeah, y'all knew.
BG and Trevor are special. And because to this day now, anybody asks me, Brian Gardner is the best point guard I ever played with. Ever. He is the best point guard I ever played with.
Yeah.
But we still had our young juniors, which were Getty, Lovelace Redmond, Charles Bannister, Steve Blackman. I mean, we had a young up-and-coming team behind us, but we knew leadership, structure is going to get us there.
Yeah.
And we had it. Yeah. We had that for sure.
Y'all had it. Oh, man. And it's so many things I want to ask you, but like I said, it's just, I know I ain't trying to call you old, kid. I just know it's so long ago.
Right.
But I know you can tell me this, though. You know, you get, you and your best friend get the team on the same accord.
Yep.
Y'all win the first state title ever.
It was, you know what, I look back on it, it was a close run. The whole time. I'm looking back at how many games we won by 2 points, 3 points, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that didn't do anything but get us ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we were solid on all those games. Our defense. Yeah. And that's what the coach expressed to us, defense. We let the offense come to us. We were middle of the pack, maybe offense, but we were one of the top defensive teams.
Yeah.
So we knew that was going to get us through. And that was our main focus, was to go in every game, play tough defense, and come out on top.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that throughout the season except one game. We lost to Madison.
Okay.
Early in the season, we lost to Madison at their play. We were able to come back later on in the season and revenge that loss. That was our only loss during that year. But that journey for that has stuck with me and will always stick with me.
Yeah.
I have never been around a group of guys that we were that cool, growing, learning from each other, sticking together no matter what. No real issues, no real beef. We wasn't going to allow it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leadership wasn't going to allow it. And that was myself and that was Bill. We led in different ways, but we made sure the ship stayed steady.
Yeah.
And we reached that goal.
Yeah.
And I would never take that back. I mean, I can't. I look at that and I use that in my daily life with the kids to this day, of how to stick together and how to work together as a team. It was the best group of guys I've ever been around, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not sure, like, who was y'all coach at the time? Was it still Gordon or
Coach Russ? Coach Russ. Gordon, I want to say, was at King at the time. He was teaching at Washington, but he was coaching King, I think. But Coach Russ, may he rest in peace, was a wonderful coach.
Yeah.
Wonderful coach, yeah. He's been around. And I would say after winning, that was probably one of the biggest things, is that it was his first victory.
Yeah.
And it was special.
Yeah.
It was special for him, yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
Man. That's definitely special, and rest in peace his soul too, man. Because I know you just said, like, the year before, like, players didn't want to come out, they was blowing the coaches off.
Yeah.
So y'all that was the same coach your junior year.
Coach,
so he came back and was on the same page.
He was on the same page. He knew, because he had Bill since his freshman year, and he knew me. Stayed on me because I did something that wasn't the smartest. My sophomore year. Here it is. I played freshman, got moved up. Sophomore year, I decided to be a knucklehead.
Oh, man.
I said I ain't going to, skip some classes here and there. Didn't do what I was supposed to do. Became ineligible to play my sophomore year. But yet, he stuck with me. He knew, and he would get on me all the time to make sure that I'm playing my junior year, and I made sure I didn't let him down.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So just overall, though, you would say you enjoyed your high school career, just overall?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will forever cherish that pergola, man. Ain't nothing better than that.
Yeah.
And putting on that purple and gold and representing Washington High School. Nothing better.
Yeah. Man, and it's crazy that you say that, right, Ken? Because all the winning I did at Vincent, we fell short winning the gold ball. And I tell people, when it comes to winning, it just holds so much weight winning that gold ball or a championship on any level, because you won that in 85, and here we are 2024 talking about you making history back in 85. So just to hear that you experienced that, I know that's a good feeling.
To give the high school that first championship, and the feeling that you get coming back from Madison at the time, and you come back to the city, everybody know who the champs are, man. And you ride that. You know what I mean? You use it, you ride it. Start off at back then we had a little pep rally, and they tell us the whole school is dismissed after the prep rally. You know what I mean? Like, everybody go home. That's the way it was back then. So it was feeling like kings at that time. You know what I mean? So it definitely is a good feeling back then when you won state.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
Yeah. Man, congratulations, kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, when you was a knucklehead your sophomore year, did that kind of knock you off your grades? As I'm asking because I know you had a good career at Washington, won a state title. How was recruiting for you? Because I know you had to take the junior college route.
I would say it was, to be honest, things were not set up the way they should have been. Okay. But we're talking back then.
Yeah.
To be eligible took nothing.
Yeah.
We're talking about, at one time, you had to pass 3 classes. That was setting young people up.
Yeah.
You pass wood shop, metal shop, and gym, you eligible to play ball. What is that about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So looking back on it, it was setting up for failure.
For failure.
To a degree.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then they tried to fix it by saying, remember it was a 1.5.
Yeah.
It's what, a D average?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
again, it was setting up for failure to a degree because you're not approaching it in a serious manner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the way I looked at it my sophomore year. I mean, the only class that kept me from playing my sophomore year, the crazy thing was gym.
Wow.
I didn't want to go to gym because I wanted to play ball. This is how crazy and, making no sense. I wanted to play ball because we had extra, lunch hour. Nobody ate lunch really.
Yeah.
We all went to the gym and we playing ball. So here it is. I'm playing ball against seniors. I'm playing ball against whoever. You know what I mean? That was the thing to do. It's to hoop down in the gym. And I was missing a gym class on the other side. That kept me from playing ball because I'm playing ball on the other side. So it made no sense whatsoever. So I didn't have it together that year. And I definitely got it together after the, junior year. And after that, I definitely got it together. But I use that to get on anybody that's coming after me, any kids that I work with now. We're going to take this serious.
Take it serious.
You know what I mean? It's going to be bigger than basketball. Basketball got me to college. It got me away from Milwaukee for a while. You know what I mean? Like, I credit basketball for doing that.
Yeah.
But I look at it as it's going to be more because I understand what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I put that onto the young ones. You're going to do more. You're going to take it further than what I did.
Yeah. So how did you hear about OTERO Junior College? And where's that located at?
Colorado.
Okay. So
Colorado. One of my friends, Keith Woodson, who was at Bayview.
Okay.
He ended up going there. And he went there for a year. I stayed back. I went to Minnesota. I should take that back. I went to Minnesota. He went to Colorado. Things didn't work out in Minnesota. I ended up coming back. He was still out there. Told the coach, there's some people at home. I got friends at home who can come out here and play.
Yeah.
Because I played at Minnesota for a little bit.
Okay.
I was ineligible to play that same year. Okay. So he ended up taking my friend, Boo Ashley, Thaddeus. So Thaddeus went out there with him. They played 1 year. The next year, Thaddeus said he wasn't going back. Woodson said he's going back. He was all region. He was everything out there. He said, you want to come with me? Cool.
Yeah.
So I went out there with him. I went out there not with the coach's blessing. The coach knew I was coming, but I wasn't the one he was
recruiting. Yeah.
He recruited another guy.
Yeah.
From Bayview.
Okay.
About 6'5". He recruited him. So when I got off the plane, he saw me, and this is a story he told me later. He saw me and he was like, what is this little guy?
What?
Oh, I got a little guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my star is here with him. You know what I mean? So as long as I got my star, I'll take him.
I'll take him. Yeah, he was nonchalant.
So he told me, he came to me and he said, I'm sorry, but you won't be able to play. I never forget it. You won't be able to play. You're ineligible because you went too long in Minnesota. So that was last year. I'm sorry. Can't play. All right, cool. We had an open gym. Went to the open gym. Did what I had to do.
Yeah.
I would say, no lie, about 6 a.m, I hear bang at the door, on my dorm door. It's him. All of a sudden, I'm eligible to play. So now it's like, you're eligible to play. Don't worry about it. I had 2 scholarships. He gave me a scholarship for one thing.
Yeah.
And then there was a player who was there who was leaving, and he took that scholarship and gave the money to me as well.
Ooh, you was killing
so
the
I
open
had
gym.
to, yeah. So if you want me to stay, we got to take care of some things, because my mind was like, I got to go home. But after that open gym, it was a different story.
Yeah.
And we're talking about out in Colorado, the region consisted of Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska,
Yeah.
Kansas, and those surrounding states.
Yeah.
And I ended up leading the region in rebounds,
Uh-huh.
scoring double figures, waited for my boy to leave. And then my year there, when he was gone,
What you do that year? You brought in no everything, didn't you?
I'm putting up over 20, became all region, the only one who got all first place votes for all region. It was a different story, you know what I mean? But it was a chance that I almost didn't have.
Yeah.
Because I was being judged right off the height. And I looked up to like Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley.
Yeah, undersized bigs. Yeah.
Who played their way, you know what I mean? Through adversities as far as big people, whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at them and that's the way I approach my game. If
Yeah.
you my height,
oh yeah,
I'm killing you.
You done.
If
yeah.
you taller, I'll take you outside and I'm gonna beat you to the basket or whatever. It was that mentality from there. And
Yeah.
I end up actually, which is crazy because I end up sending the one he recruited home. So it was, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah. And then you wound up receiving, from doing the 2 years at junior college, you wound up receiving an offer from Colorado Baptist University.
They shared the campus with Denver University.
Okay.
I end up going there and same things kind of continue. You get the look. I'm not real tall, not whatever. Some guys were there already, California, what have you.
Yeah.
And we're playing those early scrimmages, so to speak. And they said, I remember them talking, and they were, 3 of them came from Cali together.
Yeah.
And they named themselves as starters and named about 2 other people. And then looked at me and said, then Spears, you can come off the bench and we can have a deep team. So
Yeah.
we ended up going to our first scrimmage to play.
Okay.
In some part of Colorado, I forgot. No, it was in Nebraska. And no lie, I think I had about 30 something.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and we were sitting eating. We were eating after the game. And I said, I think it's going to be me, so-and-so, and I don't know who else started.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come off the bench, and we can have a deep team.
Yeah.
And from there, I had no problem with it. From there, it was leading and scoring, leading in rebounds. It was the thing that people prejudge you on what maybe you look like. You're not 6'5", you're not this or that.
Yeah. But why they just think you so short, Ken? Ain't you about 6'3",
6'1"?
6'4"? You 6'1", Ken?
6'1".
Oh man, I thought you was like 6'3", but
6'1". 6'1".
Yeah.
I think we boosted up. You know, we all boosted up in college and stuff. I think they had me like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
But actuality, I was just 6'1".
Yeah.
Well, so.
Yeah. Now I do want to ask you about this too, Ken. We're from Milwaukee, man.
Right.
We're from the inner city. You know, we come from playing against our guy. You know, just growing up in rough areas. Was it like a culture shock going to your schools out there in Colorado? Was it in the middle of nowhere? How did you handle that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Weekends were rough because it would just be basically the basketball team that would be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The brothers that came from Texas, we would be the only ones there. Everybody else went home. I actually had people who never seen black people except on TV.
Yeah.
Which to me was crazy because we ain't talking about like the 60s, 70s. We talking about the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talking about
80s
rolling, mid 80s rolling up into the 90s that people ain't never seen a black person actually. So it was definitely a shock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Took some getting used to.
Yeah.
And I will, something that's crazy happened that kind of, I didn't know how to take. we're playing, doing my thing, and it was a guy from who owned the bank that was in that small town.
Okay.
And they told me about a job. I was like, oh yeah, I need a little work study job or whatever. What are the times that I have to be there? He just looked at me and said, you don't have to come. But I need the job, get some extra money, whatever.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Wow.
Now,
Big
this
dog.
is small town, but it was big for me because I'm away from home in Colorado,
Yeah.
It's a long way. That's when we used to check mailboxes all the time to say, please, somebody send us a letter or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he would send me to the store for something, $70 to get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Keep the change. It was always these little things that I started to get around this small town. Made me a little nervous.
Yeah.
So like what it is white folks want from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was something that was a little different to me. At first I didn't know how to take it, I approach it. Got a little better at it. Called my brother. I'll never forget that. Called my brother and I was like, yo, man, this is kind of crazy. But these white folks won't giving me stuff or whatever. He was like, man, you better take it and keep it moving. and just be careful. But,
Yeah.
And from there, I got comfortable with the place, got to know some other people. So,
yeah.
It was cool.
Okay, now, this was, let me guess, Ken. This is about 89 you at?
80, yeah, around 89.
About 89.
88, 89.
88, 89. Were you, even though, like, you was that basketball star and people were doing things, did you experience, like, racism?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because when I was in college, I experienced like racism.
Absolutely. You go to places and get looked at crazy. Say certain things being told. Whispers around. I had some people from another school, young idiots, came up to the school to act like they were going to look for me. It's crazy. Come looking for me because they thought I was dating one of their girls or something that they used to go to school with. And they left little notes, what have you, on the doors, not knowing I'm from here.
Yeah.
I'm from Milwaukee. This ain't the same thing.
Yeah, it's different.
I showed up at their games. They didn't want to come on my side of the court. I showed up with a few other people.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is that I had the respect of some of the white people that were there for the baseball team and whatever. They came with me. And we are all sitting on the sideline to where he didn't even want to play. It was like 2 or 3 of them. They didn't want to play. Didn't want to check in with the game. Wanted to stay on the bench. I know the girl who they talking about.
Yeah.
She's sitting next to me. Now what? You know what I mean? Now what? It was, I was black this and black that at the time. But things change when you face to face.
When you face to face.
And the story that I heard later is that please tell him we don't have no problem with him. Everything is all right. And,
yeah,
it's different.
It's different.
It's different when you see me.
It's different. It's different. Now, Ken, I know you also had another story that you wanted to share when you was facing racism again in Wyoming. You want to share that, with me and the people that's watching?
I was doing a basketball game in Wyoming, and in the stands, you can constantly hear the N-word blurted out. It was surreal because I never had to face that. You know what I mean? In Milwaukee, we playing in city games, we didn't have to face that. It got a little loud. I ain't gonna lie to you. Got a little confused and didn't know what was going on and why such hate was being shouted out towards me. There were times when we would go out to eat, restaurants that we would go to. Certain group of us that were black on the team would get looked at kind of crazy. And we knew this was a place that probably ain't the best for us to be.
Yeah.
So definitely it was a culture shock.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, did you like call back home to family and try to like, wonder, ask these questions like, why is this going on?
I guess we had each other.
Okay.
There was myself and there was a couple of guys, about 2 or 3 other guys from out of state that we would sit and talk and lean on each other that way.
Yeah.
So we were able to stick together. And again, the people who we were really close with and talked to that were white from the school, they were cool. So we were able to talk, you know what I mean? You had something to fall back on a little bit, but still, it was definitely a shock.
Yeah. Ooh, man. And I always ask people, their experiences going to college, because like I said, I went through racism and I was at Mesabi, northern Minnesota.
Right.
That was about 06, 07, and they was using a lot of racial slurs, go back home, this and that.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, Ken, I was a firecracker. I was ready to go off,
Right.
And then my coach, he Caucasian or whatever.
Right.
So he, of course, like, just like, hey, don't say nothing. But that's like tough because you're not in that
They
situation.
don't get it. They don't understand it. In Minnesota, that was the first school I went to after Washington High School. Didn't stay, but that was the first school I went to. And we had to get an apartment. We called for the apartment. The coach called for the apartment. Yeah, we got it. It's open. It's 3 of us.
Yeah.
4 of us from Milwaukee and 1 from Minneapolis.
Okay.
All black. So we was gonna get this 2-3 bedroom apartment. It's all set up. 5 or 6 o'clock. Y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
We got there. They told us it's no longer available.
Oh, wow.
It happened more than once. And this is in St. Paul.
Wow.
So it happened more than once.
Yeah.
To where coach was making the calls for the apartment for his players. But we would show up.
And now y'all don't have it.
And now you don't have it.
Yeah.
Those were some of them early stages. So I think probably that helped some of it when I got to Colorado, that these words, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like you knew the words existed, but like just hooping, you know what I mean? Just playing ball and
yeah, man. And to go back to when you was in junior college, man, because I went through an experience where my son was born in 2008. And I was playing tug of war, Ken. Like, oh man, I love basketball. I'm on a full scholarship,
right?
Man, but I need to be at home with my son,
right?
And you went through that at junior college, where
my oldest,
your oldest, Kenneth. Shout out to my girlfriend, y'all. Her, you had your firstborn. Like, how you was able to wrap that around your head, stay focused in school and basketball?
It was, to this day, I will always say it was family. It was my family and it was her family that held us down. You know what I mean? Like it both sides were so big. It enabled me to stay put, stay focused, and know that she's being taken care of. And I'm getting ready to see her on my next break, which would have been Easter, right? It would have been the Easter
something
break.
like that. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll never forget that phone call. My buddy Jeff answered the phone, and he came and banged on the door. Everybody knew. It wasn't like it was a secret. And I ran to the phone, picked up the phone, and got that good news, and I was ecstatic. That was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my baby. So I was definitely excited about it, but knew I was comfortable enough to know that family on both sides were gonna be all right.
Yes,
so
yes.
That helped it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, you already know. Great family, both sides.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So you finish up, you have a successful career, at Colorado Baptist. Kenneth is born. Now, once you're done with college, Ken, are you thinking like, man, I'm gonna go play semi-pro overseas? Like,
you know what? There were talks that I had with some fellas who played from Colorado, and they were talking about different leagues to play in. Okay. And even back then, there used to be a league called the 6'4" and under league. And they was like, you won't play in the 6'4" and under league. And I think there was like tryouts or something in Chicago. But things that start getting, I'm like, you know what? I want some money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need some money. I want a job. I got to do something. I got a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my focus started to change as far as like I didn't have those pro dreams anymore.
Okay.
Still love the game. To this day, I still love the game, but my focus and everything changed.
Yeah.
And I just started a career in working with the youth.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it ever since.
That was the first thing you did when you got out of college?
Little jobs
just
here
like,
and there,
okay.
but those were just
Get
nothing.
this money,
Get
yeah.
this, right.
Yeah, yeah.
But my thing came when I started working in group homes and treatment centers. And then that's when I know that this was my calling.
Yeah.
To work with the youngins. So
yeah. Oh man. That's nice, man. You know, life after basketball be tough sometimes.
Right.
And even though you had a your daughter, did things start going well right away, or did you have that? All right, so this is what I'm trying to tell you, Ken. I'm sorry. So for me, when I had to put basketball in my rearview mirror,
right.
to take care of my son, that was tough for me, right?
Right.
And coming back working, I wasn't used to that because I've been
Right.
playing basketball my whole life. So I had moments where I was stressed, depressed, asking myself, like, what the heck have I done? Even though I know our situation is a little different. Like, did you have any moments like that where you were just kind of like stressed about being an early father or anything?
No. And I'm like, real talk, it was family. You know what I mean? Like, it was, we didn't have to necessarily do the daycares. We didn't, a lot of those things wasn't a problem. I would think the only time that, me and her mom could sit back and laugh about is that I fell in love with music.
Yeah.
And when I want to go get an album, I gotta get diapers instead of that album. So it was like you had those moments of like that started to tap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those things start to stress out a little bit, but
like, oh man, I want this record,
but now I gotta go get the diapers or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things started, kick in. But it was, I can't say I was stressed out. I look back, no regrets.
Yeah.
It is what it is. This is where I'm supposed to be. Things happen for a reason. The school I landed at happened for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say sometimes I do think about if I would have been born in these times.
Oh.
Where I can put everything on video and sell myself that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things were different back then.
Yeah.
I remember sending VHS out to California. I was supposed to go to California, actually, Bakersfield. And to send your basketball tapes out there or whatever, things were different back then. You know what I mean? So I look at it now,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I'm glad you brought that up, Ken. If you had to compare both eras, right? I even say my era, right? That we were tougher than this era.
Right.
So, quick question off the board, man. Right. You think this era of basketball and these kids can mess with your Washington college team with Ken Spears on it, man, or they don't stand a chance?
I'm gonna give it up to them. I'm gonna give it up to these youngins, man. They jump out the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They may even start at an earlier age. They may even start grooming them basketball wise at an early age. You know what I mean? I give them that. At times, mental toughness. Sometimes I think about that. You know what I mean? Because I can remember my years of right after college coming back and still playing on the playground.
Yeah.
And you facing some young people who may be juniors or seniors in high school or something like that. And they didn't want contact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't post them up rough or maybe. So I was like, okay, things are changing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get the youngins credit.
Okay.
Man. I'm gonna let them do what they do. I'm a respect it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. A few more questions before I let you go, though, OG. So you in the Montessori school, you in the schooling system. Like, how has that, been for you? I know you've been around for a long time.
Close to 30 years.
Okay.
Things are beautiful as far as frontline people. I can't talk about what nonsense is going on at the top. I'm gonna talk about the people who deal directly with children. We are doing our best. Um, I have mad respect and love for all the kids that I have taught and who I have had an influence on.
Yeah.
I let them know that they had just as much influence on me than I did on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I look at them, I follow them. One of them is out there in Arizona, got drafted by the Cardinals. I'm wishing him nothing but the best. Overseas playing basketball, I'm wishing them nothing but the best. From nurses to military, who I still keep up with.
Yeah.
Those are the stories and the young ones that I look at and say, this is why I do. This is true MPS. This is true Montessori kids that I work with. You know what I mean? The nonsense that hit the news and all the rest of that, those are people who don't deal with kids directly.
Yeah.
So to me, for the most part, they don't matter.
Okay.
It's the kids.
Yeah.
Directly frontline. I call myself a frontline worker, and I'm gonna retire that way.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Man, for sure, OG. And I forgot, man, that you rap, man. What's your favorite album that you made, that you produced? You was a producer or a rapper or both?
Produce music. I produce music. Got about like 4 or 5 things that we put out back in the '90s, man. It was got radio play V100. That was cool.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, that was cool. I can't say which one would be my favorite.
All of it, right?
All of it. It was something personal, man, that we did together. The ride was cool. I would say the first time hearing your joint on the radio, you calling people, it was cool. You know what I mean? Then I did a phone interview with V100. Did a phone interview with MSOE. You know, it was.
I like that. It's
cool.
lit, not light, but that's lit. Yeah. Yeah. Now the last question I want to ask you, right, Ken, because you have seen the city of Milwaukee, our inner city, change.
Absolutely.
You know, we got kids out here that's called the Kia Boys, that's not respecting their elders, or, whatever the case may be. If you could give these kids advice right now today, what advice would you give them?
It's hard to tell a kid not to think about the future. That's a difficult thing to do, is to tell a child, you know what, I need you to look ahead, because most kids are living for the now. They don't know what tomorrow's bringing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hardest thing, is to try to get that child to think about the future, because there's something out there for you that will work. That is something out there positive that will work for you. That's different than what you're doing now. You know what I mean? It's tough. I get it. You know what I mean? I grew up on Garfield. We done seen it. I had Vice Lords on one end, Trey Fo Mob on another end, 2-7 all around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we know these things exist, but there are options. You just ain't seen them yet, but there are options out there that you can choose.
Yeah.
Stealing cars, trying to be a drug dealer, whatever. Where does it end up? I mean, you actually see the picture. Like, I don't see too many people stealing cars or whatever retired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you not retiring after stealing so many cars. You either dead or in jail.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we see it on a norm, and it's like, try your best to look past right now. Look at the future. do your best to look at the future, knowing that there's something else that's positive that's out there for me, and I'm going after it, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna make myself proud more than anything. There are people that can say make your mama, your daddy proud, whatever. Make yourself proud first, and that's it.
There y'all have it, man. Y'all got the OG. My boy, man, this is my boy right here, man. This is my father-in-law, man. You know, Kenneth Spears. I appreciate you so much, man.
Man.
Great scenery too, man. Great day.
Beautiful down here.
Yeah, beautiful, man. We outside, did the interview. Man, Ken, I know it's some people you want to give a shout out to, man.
Absolutely. I want to make sure I shout these people out because they were special during my basketball career. Jarvis Ashley, Thaddeus Ashley, Bruce Ricks, Skylab, my man Billy, Steve Blackman, BG, TP, all man, special to me, special. So, thank you.
Yes.
T-Bone, Tyrone Gordon, love, bro.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you having that shout out for your peoples. And there y'all have it, man. We have the OG Kenneth Spears, man, Washington alumni, class of 1985, per Golder. He came to the podcast, y'all. This is what y'all been inboxing the action. Well, you got to get the OGs on there. So I got the OG on there. I appreciate you, Ken, man. Absolutely. For real. Absolutely. And before y'all leave, make sure y'all do the most important thing. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the Barcode Podcast 414. Peace. All right, Ken.